Hello YouTube, it's Barbara Jean. um, I don't think this is going to be an overly long video, but I had a dream. The Lord gives me dreams I don't know, every now and then, especially when He wants to reveal something or let me know something's going on. I have got a pretty good track record. I don't know if you look back on all the dreams that I've had a pretty good track record with dreams that have come true. And this one is particularly interesting because of its content and because of the person it involves. Um, so I would take it to the bank that something big is getting ready to go on for this particular person, and I will tell you about it in a moment. Oh, it's early in the morning. It's my first cup of tea. I want to read some Bible verses for you. I think I'm going to read Psalms 92. Let me cue it up here. Psalms 92. I think I want to start. Do I want to read the whole thing? Well, why not? Let's read the whole thing, okay? Um, just bear with me. I'm not a great reader. My eyes aren't that great, so I'm just going to do my best. So there it is. Psalms 92, starting at verse 1. A psalm or a song for the Sabbath day. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High. To shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon the psalm tree, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy works. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high for evermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shall thou exalt like the horn of an unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eyes also shall see my desire of mine enemies, and mine ears shall hear mine desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall bring forth fruit in old age, and they shall be fat and flourishing. Well, I got that part right. To show that the Lord is upright, he is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Okay, so let's go to, I want to read Micah. I want to go to the book of Micah. Micah chapter 4. And I want to start at verse 6. In that day, saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth even forever. O thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion. The kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem. Now, why dost thou cry out loud? Is there no king in thee? Is thy counselor perished? For pangs have taken thee as a woman in travail. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the fields, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hands of thine enemies. Now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, neither understand his counsel, for he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Now, I just want to read a couple verses from my favorite passage of Revelation, chapter 3, starting at verse 8, just two verses. This is Church of Philadelphia. I know thy works. Behold, I've set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Okay. So, I had a dream. And it involved someone we should all know. Like I said, I've had a pretty good track record with my dreams. Sometimes I understand my dreams, sometimes I don't. But later on, they all make sense. They all eventually make sense and pretty much come true. Okay? So I've had a pretty good track record. So you can take this one to the bank too, I'm pretty sure. Take it to the bank. I was in this dream, I was approaching this old mansion. It was an old rundown mansion. I was with a tour group. We were going to tour this old mansion. It was a house, and but it was a large, like I said, an old-fashioned mansion. It was very large, and it was dark. It looked like a haunted house scene. That's what it looked like. And I was going to go on a tour into this haunted house with a group of people. And we came into one of the rooms of this haunted house with this group, and someone was there. It was Obama. Obama was in this house, and he was one of the tour guides in the house. And we were warned very strictly to stay with the group because if we the house was haunted, and there were known spooks and dangers in this house. If you wandered around by yourself, you were in danger. And I looked down one of the hallways of this house. Like I said, it was very dark and murky. It was like being in a haunted house. And I looked down one of the hallways of this house, and it looked dangerous. I could see something moving around in the dark. So anyway, and I wasn't really thrilled that Obama was my tour guide, but nonetheless, I was like, oh, well, there it is. So I knew that he was somehow leading this group around in this house, and that somehow he had some control of this house. And anyway, I was with this group, and then all of a sudden, I was in a room, I had the lights on, but I found myself alone in this room. It was like a library of some sort. And, but I was alone. Suddenly, everyone else in the tour group left, and we were warned not to be by ourselves in this house because it was dangerous, and that especially the dark areas of this house were very, very dangerous. So I thought, okay, I'm alone. All of a sudden, I was alone in this room. And on either side of the room, seemed to be a door on either side of the room which I could go through. Each door had some kind of window, like a framed window in the door. So I went to one door and I was looking through the door, thinking, okay, can I go this way? Can I? Because I was anxious about finding my group. I didn't want to be left alone in this house, because I was already warned that it's dangerous and that there were things lurking around in the dark that could hurt you. And so I went to one door and I was looking through the glass trying to think, should I go this way trying to find my group? And it was dark and I knew that there was something evil on the other side of this door. And I knew I wouldn't want to go that way. So I went to the other door and I looked through that glass of the door, the glass frame of the door. And I was looking through there, it was dark on that side. And I'm thinking, I better stay where it's light, because this way I could see at least what's coming. I could see what the light will keep me safe, because I'll be able to see what's coming. Even though I'm alone, so I was concerned that I was alone in this house, and I was thinking to myself, well, I need something to protect myself. Now, for some reason, I must have assumed in my dream that there was a suit of armor I didn't see the suit of armor, but for some reason I had a spear in my hand. I knew I had to protect myself. And my best defense was to stay in the light and have a weapon. And like I said, all of a sudden I had a spear in my hand. And what came through my mind was that there was a suit of armor, like in an old mansion or something. There would be suits of armor, as we assume, or haunted houses. And this is where I assume I got this weapon from. I got this spear with a metal tip around the top of it in this dream. And so I'm thinking, okay, at least now I have something to protect myself with. Now that even though I'm alone in this room, and I don't know where the rest of the group is, but at least I have a weapon. So I'm holding my spear. Now, actually, the sword of truth, I don't know if it's spear. There's no spear in the weapons of our warfare. I think the sword of truth. So if I guess a sword and spear similar in analogy, I suppose. Jesus says we need to have our weapons of warfare, our spear of our breastplate of righteousness, our helmet of salvation, our sword of truth, to name a few. The gospel of peace shot on our feet. Um, so anyway, I was holding my spear. So I suppose that was my spirit of truth. And I was holding this spear. And sure enough, I guess whoever was on the other side of those glass doors were waiting for me to destroy me. They were waiting for me to leave the room, thinking that I was going to leave the room trying to find my group, but I didn't. I stayed in the room. And I found my little corner in the room, uh, and I was kind of bracing myself against the wall, thinking, okay, at least I can't back up, I can't go any further, so I'm going to have to just hold my ground, basically. And so whoever was on the other side of the glass door, realizing I wasn't going to leave the room, decided to come in after me. And it was Obama. Obama came into the room and he wanted to kill me. He was very, very intent on killing me. But he was in the light and he was now in the light and he was exposed. So I knew who it was that was after me in this haunted house. And he didn't have a weapon. Interestingly enough, he didn't have a weapon in his hand. He just was going to kill me with his bare hands. That's how desperate he was. But I had the spear. I had the spear. And so he came and he started approaching me, and I was warning him, you stay back. And then he would lunge at me, and I poked him with the. I wasn't afraid to use the spear, and I poked him, and he'd back up, and he'd have a hole or a gash where the spear jabbed him. And so, but he was so desperate, he just kept approaching, and I kept poking him. I poked him several times so that he had gashes on his body, and but he was that desperate. He really wanted to get to me. He wanted to kill me that badly. So anyway, I pointed the spear down at his stomach. And I said to him, the only way you're going to be able to get to me is if you impale yourself on this spear. That's the only way you're going to be able to get to me. And guess what, people? He was that desperate. He was so desperate to kill me that he thought that he could impale himself and still kill me. Well, that's what he did. He ran at me, which kind of surprised me that he would do that, that he would be that desperate, but he was. And he ran towards me and he impaled himself on the spear. And as he was trying to get closer to me, the spear was piercing through him, going right through him. And he was still trying to lunge at me and still trying to grab me, even though he was pierced. And then he died. He died. Right? And I dropped him on the floor. And I'm thinking to myself, well, he did it to himself. I didn't do it to him. He did it to himself. And then I walked into the middle of the room, and the rest of the tour group came into the room looking for me, I suppose. And I said, well, look, he's dead on the floor. Look, it's Obama. He's dead. And they were going, oh, yeah, there he is. He's dead. Well, he did it to himself. And when I explained what happened, that he impaled himself on my spear, they went, oh, well, I guess he did it to himself. He did it to himself. And that was the end of the dream. So I had that dream this morning, which I thought was rather, as you can imagine, interesting. So the Lord promises that all our enemies He will deliver us from our enemies. And this enemy of the church, this enemy of the people of God, desperately wants to kill us, but ain't gonna work. He's going to impale himself and bring himself. He will kill himself basically by his desperation to to uh, to kill us. He will. He's on the way out, people. Something very. He's going down. Let's just put it that way. He's going down, and he's going down hard. Um. Anyway, I just thought that was rather interesting. So I think, and also the chapter 4 in Micah, I really feel is very prophetic for this moment. And so read it again. Of course, read it to yourself better than I did because I'm not a very good reader, as I've already said. But interesting. So I think this should be a very hopeful message to all those who are out there who have been worried about Obama and his abominations that he has been perpetrating on the world and especially on America, that he is going down and he's going down hard. Okay, so message to all. God bless. I will talk to you later.